Riviera is famous for having a large 75-foot drop in elevation right from the first tee box. Can you guess what is the largest drop in elevation from tee to green in America?
Feel like I've seen some larger ones. So I would say 150 to 200 feet.
Okay, not scratching the surface there. Burnsville, North Carolina, at Mountain Air Country Club, on hole number 10, there is a whopping 300-foot drop on a 210-yard hole from tee to green.
That's something. That's quite a different club selection, 10, I'm sure.
Speaking of which, just being a good golfer you are, right? You see a 300-foot drop, totally normal. What are you clubbing down to? Like, if it's playing 210, what is it playing for you? There's a little bit of mathematics here that I do have an answer for, but what are you playing it as?
Probably like 150 to 160.
That's
Like
pretty good. It's
tough one. Yeah.
technically, like, if we use some Bryson DeChambeau math, it's like 165, 170 would be the sweet spot.
A local municipal golf course says it's been overrun by what some are calling, quote, hack golfers.
Has the game grown too much? Do we need more scratch golfers?
I'm telling you, hacks slow the game down. You can't grow golf if people are chunking it into the weeds all day.
Scratch player?
Hey everybody, it's Dez and welcome back to the Hack and Scratch podcast, episode number 5. Casey, I missed you. It's been 2 weeks. A lot has happened.
A lot sure has happened. From PGA Tour to Live to TGL to YouTube Golf. We got a lot to cover today.
What I love about today's episode is normally we try to throw in some alternative breaking news, things that happen outside the tours. Today, we just got headlines that write themselves within the tours, and not only PGA, but Live as well.
Absolutely. And I think this is kind of my favorite time of the year is starting. Like there's action on every tournament. Both the tours are doing cool things along with TGL. Just everything is in full force this week.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna lead off with a strong one, and I know something that's close and personal to you. You did work and work with the same training group that we constantly were seeing commercials for. I don't know if they pumped up the commercials because Morikawa was doing so good, but I feel like I saw the most urban golf commercials I've ever seen during a PGA feed. But anyways, Colin Morikawa gets the victory after waiting 2.5 years for it.
Yeah. And what a well-deserved victory. Just, I'm always impressed with the scoring at Pebble Beach and this tournament specifically. Every time I'm like, geez, he finished at 22 under par at the end of the tournament by playing Spyglass and Pebble. Like, no way. But I went back and looked at the scores from previous years, pretty similar across the board. And I was just very surprised. The one thing I was like, okay, maybe it's a little damp, balls stick a little bit better so you can really attack the pin. But overall, like toward the end of that Sunday round with the wind just whipping, to keep your wits about you, very impressive.
Yes. It finishes with a final round of 67, but obviously the story of the weekend was his third round shooting a 62. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I mean, it's crazy because I think there are a few guys that were trying to get down to that 62, 63 number. And I'm just like, wow, this is overall some incredible golf we're seeing by so many different players. And I mean, I was stoked to see Morikawa win this one. He's just had some struggles in the past, but victories like this remind us like why he's a top 10 player in the world. And so I was very happy that he won.
Yeah. I know Colin Morikawa might be polarizing for some people. He doesn't have like the loud, boisterous personality that some people vibe with, but I always looked at it. He is so funny. He's very much a people's golfer because of how self-deprecating he can be. Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to some of his like post-round interviews, but even on ones that he plays good, he's always talking trash about his own game, says it's completely out of wax, he hasn't found it, and then he'll go out and shoot a 62. So there is a piece that I feel like hopefully as this hot streak continues that people warm to Colin, and I honestly think he's a very likable golfer, despite, some people's take.
Yeah, I think so too. I've always been a huge fan of his. Growing up kind of as a SoCal golfer myself, I was actually at Woodley Lakes a couple years ago and he was shooting like an AT&T commercial. And I was walking by and like he was with a group of kids and he just was a likable guy. You could tell that everybody was having fun and he was happy to be there. And it just, I really like him. I like to see him doing well. I think us SoCal kids really root for the SoCal people that we see on the tour.
So Colin Morikawa wins it at 22 under par and finishes right in front of Minwoo Lee and Sepp Straka, who finish at 21 under par. Pretty funny story happened with Minwoo Lee at the end of the broadcast. I don't know if you caught it, but they were actually scheduled to take the same private jet, share a private jet from Pebble to LA for the Genesis this week. And either way, they were going to have to wait for each other, whether it was a playoff or Colin winning. Unfortunately for Minwoo, he had to wait a little bit longer because Colin had to do the post-round stuff and all the trophy and award ceremony. But it was funny. The broadcast caught the moment where Minwoo says, "Hey, the jet's on you for this one."
That's perfect. And another reason why I love Minwoo Lee as well. Like, he's just so lighthearted and is having a good time. What I think is funny too, thinking about some of the other clips I saw, is that I think Colin and his wife went into the pro shop and went on a little shopping spree after he had won. So it's like, hey, sorry, I got to pick up a couple new hats from Pebble before we get on the jet. I love it.
I don't know the exact dollar figure, but people were saying it was in the like high, close to 10,000, the amount of money that Tommy Fleetwood dropped on the pro shop this week.
Really? Is that why I saw a clip of him wearing like a brand new hat and like just a full decked out gear from the shop? Is that what that was?
That's probably it. I mean, definitely connected, but he unloaded. And I know that's pretty common for players, especially signature courses. They get so many requests from family members and things like that. And then I think the PGA has a weird way of handling it. It like goes on a tab basically for the entire year for all the pro shops. Like the PGA takes cares of it and then you pay it at the end. It's kind of a funny deal. Yeah. Anyways, Colin can afford a lot more merch with that $3.6 million win. First signature event of the 2026 season. And to cap it all off, he's got some great news in his personal life, expecting a kid in a couple months. I love that he dropped it on the post round victory speech, but he's got a kid coming up, which obviously changes perspective for all golfers and all people.
Definitely. And like, what better place to announce you're having a child than on the 18th green at Pebble after you just won? Like, classic.
Come on, Casey. I know you're expecting. You need to step up your game, man. You need to be announcing it at Pebble.
Well, I think maybe we'll do it at Riv next week if they'll let me go on the 18th green.
Perfect. The other story that I just want to quickly follow up with is the stolen putter thing. So I'll make it quick, but apparently Colin won on a stolen putter. So it wasn't his putter. He had a couple weeks ago at the Waste Management borrowed Kurt Kitayama's backup putter, found something that he liked and decided to play with it, played last week's and this week's, and obviously won with this week. I highly doubt Kurt is getting that putter back. I don't know what dollar figure will be exchanged for it, but Kurt better ask for something good. I liken it to when a good player comes over to a different NFL team or NBA team and they want their number. You got to pay up for that number. So you got to pay up for that winning putter. And then the last one, I know you saw it, was Ryo Satsune saying why he takes a sip of water before every putt. And I don't know, just wholesome moments like this when golfers show a little bit of their character, and especially a foreign one who like barely speaks English, saying that, oh, it's actually sake bombs. I don't know. I thought that was hilarious.
So funny. And, we've seen him play really well the past few weeks. So we're like, oh, okay, cool. We're getting to know this guy a little bit. And it's just stuff like that. I love watching that the cameras catch. Like, it's just too good.
Too good. Yeah. So all in all, great week for the PGA. But I have to say, objectively, Liv is kicking the PGA's ass the last couple weeks in headlines. I know you were very excited about this when we woke up to the news on Sunday. Walk me through what happened in Liv this week.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Liv right now, it has their, I don't even know what to call it, like flagship storyline, whatever. But this Anthony Kim's win in Australia is the biggest thing that has happened to Liv since the inception of Liv. Plain and simple. And for those who don't know who Anthony Kim is, highly recommend you read about him and learn just what an incredible person he is, first off, and incredible golfer he is. Me being a high school golfer, when I was on the high school golf team, yeah, we all looked up to Tiger, but a lot of people looked up to Anthony Kim as well because he was fun, he was exciting to watch, and for him to come back and beat Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm in the final group in Adelaide. It's just absolutely incredible. And I was so happy for him. I just want to read like a couple things that he said in his post round interview that I thought were just spot on. One thing he said was, "I'm not here to prove everybody wrong. I'm here to prove myself right." And to me, that sounds like an extremely motivated golfer who sky's the limit. And he said something similar to that is, "I can go as far as I want." I totally agree. And then, but my favorite thing that he said was, "This was all the lows that I went through in my life that I got to dig out of. Every putt that went in, I felt the struggle and I was overcoming it." Just brilliant way to describe what that tournament meant to him. So, you know what? This is not the last we're going to be hearing about Anthony Kim. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what else he can do. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal comeback story. You know, I'm not going to say it's there, but it's in that same room of the Tiger comeback in 2019. I don't care what you say. It's just his lows were just as low as Tiger. And I know Tiger had his lows as well. That maybe the return to glory isn't quite the same as a Live Adelaide win, and I get that, but for what it means to AK, I think it's phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, just to summarize, I mean, gets in a final pairing with John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau, two just hunter killers on the Live Tour, top golfers in the world. He's the third on wheel in that group. He's 5 back to start the day, and just has a great opening 9 and just a crazy back 9 of just rolling in some putts. And every single one of those putts on the back 9 were followed up with some of the most like biggest electric fist pumps that I've seen any golfer do on a competitive stage, you know, in the last 10 years. And, you know, he said in his post round interview that he's probably a little bit old to be doing those fist pumps, but they were worth it. And at 40 years old, you know, to have this awesome comeback with his little daughter running up to him right as soon as that putt drops. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. And I think you're right. This should be Live pouring every single thing that they have into the story. I'd get a documentary crew out to his house Monday. Like it cannot be said that this is the best thing for Live by a country mile.
Yep, totally agree. And what the future holds is just, I'm really interested to see. I mean, this is somebody who has played in major tournaments before, you know?
T2 in the Masters. A lot of people forget about that. T2 in the Masters.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody asked him in the post-game interview if he would consider playing in the Australian Open, because if he were to win that, he would get an exemption into the Masters. And it's like,
Sure.
It's plain and simple right there. You could tell he was trying not to get ahead of himself, which I understand.
Yeah.
But I think the last thing that I read on him was the last time he played in a PGA tournament was at the Wells Fargo Championship in 2012. He withdrew after the first round, and that was it. We didn't see him for 12 years. That's a long time to come back and do what he has done. And it's just, I'm so impressed.
Well, it's a crazy exit for him. So he's on top of the golf world, praised as the next new coming thing, right on the heels of Tiger, honestly, his breakthrough. And, you know, he was 26 when he left the PGA, and it was primarily because he had a life insurance policy that would basically pay him out for a career-ending injury. And he had torn his Achilles severely. And so he kind of had to make one of the toughest choices, I'm sure, that led to a lot of his lows during that time, which is, do I take this exit and this insurance and quit playing golf for the rest of my life, but set up my family? Or do I try to risk it all and come back? And so, I mean, that's a crazy decision to have to make as a 26-year-old. And, you know, he obviously chose that, said he battled depression, battled addiction, all that stuff through those years. And I can imagine, from being so high on top of the golf world to sitting on your couch wondering what you want to do for the rest of your life. I can't imagine the swing. So yeah, just a crazy story. Then it's not even ended yet, but to eventually get it back to the place where we saw it this weekend, just storybook stuff. Well, great. I feel like it's a letdown to then just move to the TGL, but that's what we got to do. Such a wonderful story on Live. TGL rolls on. It's match 108. It's the Bay Golf Club versus your Los Angeles Golf Club. They catch the L 11-5. It's the Bay Golf Club's first win, I think, of the season. So they needed it severely. But we did have one highlight. I talk a lot of trash on TGL, how they need to figure out a better way to get people in. And maybe that'll be one of our games, one of the week, is to talk about how you can make TGL more exciting. But they do have one highlight this week.
Yeah. And I was watching it live, so it was pretty exciting to see it. But Neil Shipley made his first hole-in-one. Well, the first hole-in-one in TGL history. And the crowd just went wild. And it was really awesome to see. I think it was Luke Clanton that jumped on his back, and you could tell oh man, I know you guys are young, but be careful. And you look at some of the other guys that are on LA who I don't want to call the old guys, but they're a little older, just getting crushed, just getting destroyed. As much as I love the LA Golf Club and those guys, it's like, come on, man, you guys are taking a beating. But it was really cool to see that, because we had Justin Rose's Albatross, I think, a week or two prior. So really fun to have kind of these big moments in TGL still.
For sure. For sure. And I really do. When the concept released, I was so excited about it. I just saw a world where people are in digital golf leagues on Tuesday night versus, years of bowling back in the day, or men's rec league, when just I saw the potential of it, and just the accessibility increase of a sim versus. So I'm rooting for this whole concept, but I do feel like they just need to figure out a little bit of a spark. Maybe they do bring the women's groups in there. Maybe they invite some average Joes to play every once in a while. Who knows?
That was kind of my thought. What if some average Joes or some other, professional sports players, like some NFL, some NBA guys, that would get people riled up and excited. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I love it. Speaking of which, and I'm glad you brought up Luke Clanton, I watched some YouTube golf this week. And I started off with Bob Does Sports, played quite a big headline for them, which was they finally had a video with Scotty, and they did it with Tom Kim and Luke Clanton. So it was a 9-hole round robin where they were a 3-man scramble against Scotty, then Tom, then Luke for 3 holes each. And so it was played in Scotty's home course in Dallas, so it knows it very well. And obviously just, luckily they have a 3-man scramble to fall back on, but no matter what, you're going to have nerves. And it showed a lot of balls OB, a lot of shanks, but they draw with Scotty after 3, they draw with Tom after 3, and they got beat by Luke Clanton. So, the pros beat the Joes for that series. But what's funny is, I thought Scotty's repartee with Bob Does Sports was good. They asked him some questions of what was it like being in the cell? And I was like, oh man, let's just move past from that. But of course, Scotty, being the nice person he is, he answered. But the person I walked away with being like, I'm going to be a fan of this guy for a very long time, is Luke Clanton. He is a great golfer, but honestly, such a likable personality. He reminds me a lot of Max Homa, who also just has such a good, lighthearted personality. Go Luke Clanton. He seems like a great kid, and obviously just starting to peak in his game, but phenomenal.
Yeah, you could tell that he was really excited to be there. And again, this guy's just getting his career started. He's going to be around for a while, but he just kind of seemed like a big kid and still has an insane love for the game. And to do events like this for YouTube golf, I like that. I like that it's not somebody kind of being bothered, oh, I got to go play with these YouTube guys. He's like, oh no, he's into it and he wants to be there. So I thought that was super fun too. And I think the guys did a good job of making them all feel comfortable, because those are some bigger names, with Scotty. And I think if anybody can make a question about jail towards Scotty palatable, it's probably Bobby Berger. That was a fun watch to get to know all 3 of those guys a little bit.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. The 4-play group played Chazzy, who was kind of a hero or standout from the Internet Invitational, #1 adaptive golfer in the world. They played a scramble. I think it was just Frankie and Trent versus Chazzy. Chazzy catches a very late L on the 18, but shout out for him taking, 2 guys who play golf for a living to 18 on a scramble. It was a good watch. Internet Invitational released their solo episode of the whole Luke Kwan fiasco. I know you were into it at the time. I probably was a little bit more obsessed at the time. I know you watched a little bit of this. What was your take on it?
I mean, I think the hard part for me is that I come from a very kind of classic golf background. And so the idea of missing your tee time or showing up late just drives me insane. And it happened a couple weeks ago to me. There was this high school kid that, was supposed to tee off in the group in front, and he showed up to the tee after they had already teed off. He's like, "You guys care if I tee off?" I'm like, "No, go catch up with your group. We're all waiting for you." But that was just another level with Luke Kwan. Like, he was still in bed and everybody's trying to figure out what to do, which that's the part that I found entertaining. Was there are no rules. It's just like controlled chaos on how to handle this situation. But yeah, I would be frustrated. And you could tell that Bob the Sports guys were frustrated too. Everybody was. So it's like, come on, man, get with the program. This is as most professional as you're going to get.
Yeah, I think, everyone's human. People make mistakes. It's a crazy mistake to make, but you can make it. But just the lack of accountability, like over and over again, was crazy. It's like he was digging his own grave, or, he was panicking and just like, I have to die with this. Like, I have to own it. Like, I don't know what was going through his mind, but man, he kept digging and digging. And it was a brutal look for Luke. On the other side, Bryson played a very wholesome round with Carlos Alcaraz, number 1 or 2, depending on who it is at the time. Tennis player in the world. It was great. I always enjoy these. Obviously, Bryson's played with Steph, and honestly, Steph outplayed Bryson. I was hoping for something similar. I was hoping for Carlos to show his skills. Not quite the greatest golf day for honestly either of them. Bryson struggled a ton, but it was great. Carlos seems to be like such an incredible down to earth athlete. Had a lot of cool things to say about his prep and his process, and overall, just like I said, very wholesome. A really good watch if you're down to watch some average golf and better human beings. So the last one we'll cover is Grant Horvat teamed up with Brad Dahlke, kind of probably the two standouts people are talking about in the YouTube golf world as like having a chance to actually make it and play an event, maybe make a cut. I think for Brad, people are talking about like he could actually make it back full time on the tour. It doesn't seem that that's what he wants to do, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, they tried to team up and do a scramble to beat a local course record. I think they had to shoot like 10 under. Didn't quite do it. I think they shot 9. But overall, a good watch with some phenomenal golf. Obviously, they shot 9 under, so they were playing great. But yeah, that rounds up the golf YouTube scene for this week. And we move on to some professional golf at the Genesis Invitational, which, late breaking news right here, we're going to.
We'll be there. I can't wait.
Boots on the ground. First tournament of the season that we're going to be at. I know we talked about going to Waste Management next year, but very excited to get to team up in SoCal and watch Sunday. Hopefully we have an incredible finish with some quality golf and no rain. Right now it's absolutely dumping in Southern California as far as rain. I don't even know if they practice today or tomorrow. It'll be so rained out. But yeah, come Thursday, should be a little bit better weather. And then by Sunday, it should be great. So I'm excited.
Yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite tournaments of the year. I have so many memories going to Riv as a kid it was like the LA Open, then it was the Nissan Open, then it was like the Northern Trust. I remember it as the Nissan Open because they always had the like Nissan Z on one of the par 3s. If you get a hole in one, you get the car, which now a little bit better. You get a Genesis. No shade to Nissan, but Genesis is a pretty nice car. Yeah, I love this course. It's very walkable too. You can see pretty much everything. Yeah, and it's one of the courses that I would love to play with.
Yeah. I know it was the one membership that you were like, maybe I'd take a Riviera membership over a Masters or over an Augusta round. So I know it must be near and dear to you. As far as playability and what we're looking for, who comes out on top this week, I was looking at some regressive stats, and it looks like some of the top key differentiators is kind of longer lag putting. So greens are very accessible. However, if you don't hit them, that's a severe penalty. I think it's like one of the biggest penalties actually on the tour as far as courses if you don't hit green in regulation. So tough bunkers, tough play outside the greens. Luckily for most, it's pretty easy and accessible, but you're looking for proximity on your approaches from like 150 to 200. kind of in that longer range of golfers and iron shots of who can dial it in and make sure they get on that green. And then obviously it's a scoring course, right? We should have even with the weather and maybe it makes the green softer and it makes it a little bit easier, but we should have a winner somewhere in the minus 15, minus, I would go even as high as like 23. That's where I probably think it lands this week. So you have to score, you have to get those birdies. Who do you like this week?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we always give a caveat to when we pick Scotty Scheffler because he seems like an easy choice, but I think he'll figure out his first round jitters or whatever it is this time around. I think he's going to take it. Like he's been right there every week, and to shoot -9 on Sunday at Pebble, like I think he's ready to take this one home. He hasn't won here before as far as I know. So I think this would be his first win. I don't know if that's true, actually.
Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting. I don't think he has one here. And just a reminder, last year, this is a return to Riv. So I was looking through the stats, and Ludwig Oberg won this tournament last year, but it was played down in Torrey.
Yeah.
The last person to win it was actually Hideki the year before the fires. And before that, it was actually mostly live guys. So it was John Rahm, Joaquin Neiman, and then I think actually Max Homa won the year
Yeah.
before that. So yeah, just an interesting group, honestly, when I was looking at past victors and how to kind of grade that. But ultimately, it's hard not to like Scotty, and especially, I mean, the way he's closing on Sunday, it's just like it's a matter of time till he gets back in the winner's circle. And I know it's only been like 3 weeks since he was there, so it's just really hard not to like him. Who else were you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I also like Rory. He's also been at the top almost every week, and he's played pretty well here before, and I just think he's in good form, and I think he's ready to take this on as long as he doesn't have like a string of triples, kind of like he did this past weekend. So I like Rory. Also like Patrick Cantley, another SoCal kid who's spent a lot of time at Riv, and I know this is one of the tournaments he looks forward to. So I have him. And then I have Matt Fitzpatrick, who he kind of struggled, I think, last week after having some really good rounds. But with the greens, how much undulation there is, you need to hit greens and you need to putt well. And that's his strong suit. And so I think he has an advantage this week. So I'm picking him as well.
Nice. Man, Cantlay does so well at this course, but just never seems to get it across the finish line. He's probably played this course more than anyone else has in this entire field, but always does well, but just can't get across the finish line. So maybe this is the week, Colin just got the monkey off his back. Maybe it's a back-to-back kind of situation and Cantlay can get it off his. It's been a long time since Patrick has won on the tour. I too love Scotty for this one. How could you not? He's done very well in years past, even though he doesn't have the win. Another hot golfer. It's just not exciting, and I hate to not give like really interesting takes, but it's like, how could you not? Siwoo closes Pebble so strong on Sunday, takes that form into here where he's done well over the years. Love Siwoo Kim for this one. And then last but not least, it's just not interesting. It's Hideki. I mean, it's like, you play Hideki at the Genesis. That's just what it is. And even if he wasn't in form, and he happens to be in form, had a great close to Sunday as well at Pebble, despite some early hiccups in early rounds, already has a win to the season. So it's just, I think uninteresting, but hopefully we get a win. You have our only win. We haven't talked about that. You have our only win of the season with Chris Cotter up. So hopefully we can add another win this week.
Yeah, and I like your picks too. I think those are very data driven picks, and I mean, I think out of both of ours, one of those guys has to hit. So we'll see.
Hope so. Okay. So what does golf, joggers, and MySpace Tom have in common?
I have no idea.
Well, it's a golf brand that you might not have heard of, but I have been severely obsessed with for the past couple weeks, and it's had my attention, which it's called the Students Golf brand. That at all ring a bell? Have you ever seen it? Students.
Feel like I've seen Tommy Fleetwood with something like this.
Okay.
But I don't know much about it.
Okay. So it is a smaller brand. There's a lot of smaller brands in the space right now. It was founded by Michael Hyun, he has like a background in kind of active and streetwear stuff. And he is actually the one that's kind of responsible and pioneered the whole jogger trend. So like the tight-waisted or tight calf jogger, that's kind of like his baby. And he had a company that kind of went really big and he made a good amount of money on it. But he started that, and then during that, he had a health scare with just how much it was blowing up and how much he had to do. He had a big health scare due to hypertension, and it kind of brought him to golf, which I think, is something that many people probably have brought them to golf, as they've told you need to get out, you need to be more active, and they kind of find it as like a mid step, between going straight to the gym or joining a men's rec league, and it's much more leisurely. So it brought him to golf. And what's cool is very local to Southern California. This company was started in Costa Mesa. So very close, maybe an hour south of Riv in kind of a unknown businessy part of Orange County. And it was started by this guy named Michael. And they really are taking, which me and you appreciate, we're kind of nerds about golf, but taking the very student academic approach of golf. So a lot of their themes are, around being a student of the game, knowing the game versus just playing it, and knowing its history. And so that's the kind of vibe they represent. But how MySpace Tom brings it comes into the equation is I was looking at their socials, and all of a sudden I see someone comment who had Tom and the picture of the, infamous MySpace Tom with the whiteboard and all that stuff. And he was commenting on people's stuff, and I was like, what is going on? And then I looked on his page. He is the brand ambassador, Tom Anderson, the founder of MySpace, who then sold it for hundreds of millions of dollars, is the brand ambassador for Students Golf. I haven't found proof of this anywhere, but I'm assuming he's an investor of some sort. That would just make sense naturally. But he's the brand ambassador for Students Golf.
That's awesome. I mean, I think he is the more likable one of the social media heads.
For sure.
That's great. Like, I love that. He kind of got his bag and disappeared and did some cool stuff rather than that. So what a great thing to invest in.
Yeah.
What I love about the brand too is being a student of golf, that you're always learning. There's nothing, you never master golf. No one ever will. So what an awesome brand to cater to so many different people, whether you're just learning or you're an expert, like, that's awesome. I think I want to look more into this too.
Yeah. So like I said, I've been obsessed with the brand for a little bit. I made my first purchase order the other week. I bought some different hats. They have some really cool hats. But then I get a signed letter with my order that came in the mail and signed by Tom Anderson, the MySpace founder. He said,
wow,
welcome to the brand. I saw it was your first order, so I threw in some free teas, Tom. So
that's
I love
awesome.
I love when things happen like that aren't really scalable for a huge business like Nike or TaylorMade to do. But for the up and coming brand, I love that personal touch. It made me a fan for life. So shout out to Students Golf. All right. So we have come to the part of the show where we do some games. We got some interesting ones tonight. First game is a little bit of a hot topic. I could get myself into some hot water here, but question is it time to make the players fifth major, or are we rewriting too much of history? So I know we have differing takes on this. I'll let you present your case first, maybe, and then I'll go ahead. But how do you feel about making golf the fifth major?
No, I'm going to say no. Here's why. And there's a few reasons why I think it shouldn't be. One, you get a ton of stuff from winning the Players Championship. You get a 5-year exemption on the PGA Tour. And I don't think people understand how big of a deal that is, especially if you've been on the tour for a long time, let's say Ricky Fowler, and you need something to boost you up to the next level. Like, that is something worth playing for. I feel like the Players gets the benefits of everything. And, it's held at Sawgrass every year. It has a lot of history and tradition to it. My thing with it, and I know this isn't necessarily why I think it shouldn't be, but if we were to include this as the fifth major, Tiger has won this twice in his career. So that begs the question, does Tiger have 17 majors now? And I feel like, let's just say Tiger wins 2 more majors or Players combined. He's at 19 then. Is that going to have an asterisk forever? And I feel like people don't want Tiger Woods with an asterisk. We just want Tiger Woods. So I know that's not a great reason why, but I feel like that would muddy the waters on how many majors have people won? But it also begs the question then, what does define a major? And that I don't know.
So you did highlight what I will agree is one of the most challenging things, which how does it affect history, right? Do past champions now become major winners? My stance on that is no. It needs to be clarified that this is a major going forward, and anyone who wins it going forward is considered a major champion. There's just that pressure that comes with winning a major, and I don't think it's fair to just retroactively assign it. However, I do think it should be the fifth major, and here's how I would do it. So I would move it from March to now be the move, which is going to piss off a lot of people, but move East Lake out and make the Players the PGA Championship final event. Now here's the issue, right?
Make the
You'll
PGA or the Players?
No, make the Players the FedEx Cup Championship. Now here's the problem there, which is a smaller golf field. I get it. But as far as quality of field, it will be by far, on average, the highest quality of golf field across the world for any tournament, right? With other majors, you throw in amateurs, you throw in other things. No amateurs, only golf point status. And I think it deserves the recognition of winning something that is that kind of select few. And I think it could be a great way to end and crown the FedEx Cup champion as well as become a major. And, I mean, East Lake is wonderful. We've had some amazing moments at East Lake and even in the modern era, but I think that is something that people won't miss entirely. So I don't know. I think it's one, people talk about it as one of the most iconic venues on the PGA Tour, regardless if it's a major or not. It has some incredible holes, but it also requires such a complete game to go out there and win on. I think it already gives some of the greatest benefits across all tournaments, has the highest prize money, even across all majors. It has the exemptions, everything that would classify it as a major, it already gives out. So yeah, I think it would be good. And if I'm talking about the PGA war, it would push more live golfers to get back onto the PGA because the only way to get into that major would be through the PGA. So again, putting that emphasis on bringing them back. I'm just saying it would be for the better game, better growth of golf if it were the fifth major.
Okay, I see your point. I think, however, if because I think the criteria is you're the top 50 ranked in the world, right? Isn't that the idea of the Players? There are guys on live that are mixed in there. If you don't invite them, that's not going to be good. Even if you don't invite a John Rahm, if you don't invite a Bryson, then we don't have the best players in the world there. So that's where it gets a little complicated.
Gooch. You sound like Taylor Gooch.
I know I do. And I don't love that I sound like that. But, I think a lot of things need to be worked out before they do this. And of course, the whole PGA and live merging thing, if that'll ever happen, whatever it is, maybe they figure that out before they get here.
I would agree. It'd be easier to do after that all happens. Don't know if it's ever going to happen. Might be the emphasis to make something happen. So that's kind of why I would hope for it. But, I am a fan of tradition. I just think, there was a time and place, it was early 1900s, where the majors weren't defined and we were still adding tournaments. I mean, my God, Masters wasn't even created till 1935 or 40, whatever. So just the natural progression of the game, things are going to have to change. 100 years from now, I would bet 100 years from now, the four majors won't be the same. So just a thought. I think it's time for some change.
Okay. Probably agree to disagree there.
Yeah, we'll see how people react to that one. But
yeah.
All right, so we are on to some lighter topics. We have a draft, and can you name a more iconic golf duo? We are drafting the best duos in golf, and I will let you have this week's first pick. We told ourselves we'd get creative with the answers, not just go with player caddy, all the obvious ones. It can be any duo in golf. So where are you leading us off?
I'm starting off very classic, very simple, but an Arnold Palmer, an iced tea and lemonade together.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love it. Sometimes you put a little vodka in there. I think you call that a John Daly, but
that's right.
Yeah. I think it's timeless, right? And it represents one of the best players who ever lived. So yeah,
okay.
I'm going. Yeah.
you have that. I wasn't expecting you to go drink right off the bat. I do feel bad because I feel like I set you up on these weeks of having the number 1 pick and then me just taking the more traditional, obvious number 1 pick, but I am gonna steal with what I think is a very valuable pick, and I'm gonna go Tiger and Nike, an essential duo
Uh,
comeuppance of golf. I'm gonna go the brand and the player that kinda pushed us into a new era, similar to what, it did for Michael or what Michael did for Nike. I'm gonna go Tiger and Nike.
that's probably a good pick. Yeah, I can see where I kind of went wrong there, but I'll give you that. I'm still proud of my iced tea and lemonade.
Just pretend I went first. Just pretend I went first and we're all good. We're all good.
No, I'm going to stand by my comment.
Perfect. All right. Well, you have a chance to follow it up with a really good number 2.
I do have a really good number 2, and this one is Jim Nantz and the Masters. That Sunday morning, the good morning or hello friends, however he starts it off, is just, it does something to you, It gets you stoked for the day, and it's timeless.
And I'll even give you the background music as well as part of that little trio because you're right. It is so nostalgic. I look forward to it every year. It does. It's very emblematic. It also steals. I was going to use Masters for something else, so consider that stolen. Yeah, Jim Nantz and the Masters. Very good second pick. I'll give you that. All right. With my second pick, I'm going to go a classic pairing, but maybe a rivalry. I'm going to go USA and Europe. A great duo in golf provided us with some of the most memorable, but most like passionate moments. I think that the sport experiences in the Ryder Cup. And I just think it's perfect. I don't know the exact history of the Ryder Cup and if it's always been just USA and general Europe or if it was a smaller subset of the European countries, but it's just a perfect balance. I feel like skill wise, it's very equal, and I just love the drama it brings. So USA and Europe is going to be my second duo.
I think that's a really good one. Always gets people fired up, and yeah, totally get that. I'm going to go similar with my next pick for a rivalry, but a good rivalry. Woods and Sergio Garcia. Anytime those guys were playing together, you knew there was going to be some heat, mostly some anger coming from Sergio, but
Yes.
you always knew that was going to be a good watch and just a solid rivalry. And really, when you could even say him and Phil Mickelson, right? It's just like these guys were just overshadowed, by Tiger, but so much fun to watch them battle it out.
Yeah, no, that's a really good one. Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, why would he go Sergio over Phil? But like you said, Ryder Cup. I mean, like I said, Ryder Cup is such a big thing. Those are 2 great players. Sergio has the edge on him on that one. So yeah, really good pick. All right, I'm gonna close it out with. Gosh, this isn't one that I thought I'd go, but I'm going St. Andrews and the Open. It's just a classic combo. Everyone looks forward to when it lines up. The Open Championship being the oldest major there is, St. Andrews being the birthplace of golf. We talked about this the other week, like venues you'd want to win at. St. Andrews at the Open's got to be like right behind Augusta and the Masters. So St. Andrews and the Open is going to be my closer.
I think that's a great one. I mean, just the birthplace of golf, and my favorite Open Championship venue.
Nice. All right. Well, good. Those are best duos in golf. Let us know who you agree with in the comments.
I think I have a feeling on who they're going to agree with in the comments.
Well, hey, I took it in the shins for my take on the players, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, fair enough.
You got the next game.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to play a small game of The Price is Right. Basically, I went onto eBay, found various golf related items that have been sold. So these are things not the price they were listed for, but this is what people actually paid for them. Some are very inexpensive, some are more than expensive. So you have the pictures here, and I'm going to just kind of describe each one. So the first one, start out kind of simple, is a Royal Troon. I think it's a Titleist golf ball from the Pro Shop from 2024. Just one golf ball.
We're starting off cheap. I'll go $5.
I think that's a good guess. $12.
Ooh, a little higher than I thought.
A little higher for one golf ball, but it is what it is. Okay, good guess. So this next one, this is a Scotty Cameron. It's a logo, the Scotty Cameron logo on a trailer hitch cover. And they're saying it's vintage. So you stick it on the back of your so if everybody sees you sporting the Scotty Cameron logo on the back of your car.
Man, it just doesn't look as desirable as I would think, but I know it's probably rare, and then I know there's someone who probably wants it. I just in no world can I imagine more than 45.
So that's what I thought originally. Do you want to take another guess?
Oh my god, is it 200?
It is. This person paid 2 months ago $650 for this trailer hitch cover.
No, unless it comes with a putter, no way in hell.
Nope, just the trailer hitch cover.
That's disgusting.
I
Okay,
know, right?
let's keep it rolling.
Okay, so this one it's a Ping promotional golf ball. It's a vintage, so it's probably like a Bellata style ball. It's half white, half pink, but it's a stamped error ball. So this happened a lot, especially when I was a kid. You'd find these balls where the stamps didn't line up. And for some reason, everyone wanted these golf balls. And they were really popular because they were misprints and somehow they made it out of the factory or whatever. So people were really into this. I will say that. It is just one of these Ping golf balls.
This brings up another topic, which I think we should normalize people putting with the same ball, like swapping it out and putting with the same ball. This is definitely a ball I would select that for. Pretty sick. Looks like a bobber for those who love fishing. Yeah, interesting. I'll go all the way up to like $85.
Des, someone paid $1,000 for this golf ball. Can you believe that?
Okay, people are flaming us for not taking the $25,000 instead of playing Augusta. Just so you know, this is what we're dealing with. People are paying $1,000 for a misstamped pink golf ball. Okay? Just
One.
we rest our case. Okay, wow. This is crazy. Okay, keep going.
Okay, this one, I think you're going to guess in the range on this one. This is a Louis Vuitton monogrammed golf bag with leather. It is used, but it's Louis Vuitton. It looks very nice. It's got the cover on it. What would you put it at?
If we're saying it's authentic, if we're saying it's truly authentic, I'm going $10,000.
Wow. And that's a good guess, but it only turned out to be $2,400. And I think the reason being is because it is used, but it doesn't look used. But I think you're right. If it were to be new, it'd probably be in that range.
Okay. I'll relinquish that one. We might have some have some counterfeit claims to that Louis Vuitton bag then.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, someone could have easily paid $2,000 for a counterfeit Louis bag. All right, this next one I'm nailing for sure. This is something that I actively purchase on eBay. I'm going to nail this.
Let me make sure you're looking at the right one.
I'm going for the Masters tournament badge.
Yes. Okay. So this is a Masters tournament badge. So you're saying you look for these.
I have bought many Masters tournament badges, and I actually do collect them.
Interesting. Okay. So tell me what they used this badge for.
It's fascinating. The Masters badge has never been it hasn't been a ticket for a very long time. The early ones, yes, were tickets, but they've actually had this badge concept since the early 40s. Yeah, I think it started right after they came back from World War II and started playing the Masters again. But they introduced badges instead of tickets. So a patron badge is usually something that you can pin clip to your apparel and that you walk in with rather than having your ticket. And now that you wear it throughout the whole day, people can, or, security can make sure that you have a badge and you're wearing it. They make badges for single days. They make badges for the whole tournament. They make badges for different rounds and things like that. So it's a good way. But what's so impressive is if you look at these badges, even back in the 50s and 60s, they knew to make sure you couldn't counterfeit them. So they are incredibly detailed. Like some of the earliest usage of like holographic film that you would see like in your Pokemon cards back in the day was used like in the 60s and 70s on Masters badges. It's pretty incredible the detail they go into. So this one's a 1965 badge.
Yes. So that's great. I'm so glad you know so much about this. I honestly didn't know too much, but this is a 1965 Masters badge. It looks like it's for the whole series, so probably all the days. And this was a year that Jack Nicklaus won. So probably a pretty sought after badge. What would you put?
It's also a different shape. Normally, they're just like shaped like cards or squares or rectangles. This one's kind of an oval. I'm going to go, this is one of the more rare ones. It's probably right. It's probably like a like $1,200.
Really good guess, $2,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, like, I'm surprised that people are paying this, but that is a really rare item. You know, a lot of
Yes.
people probably just tossed them. So to have that from Jack Nicklaus, a winning year, pretty cool.
Yes. I will be first to tell you I do not have one of these. I have not paid up $2,000 for one of these, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to something a little different. These are vintage Titleist Tour Blada golf balls. There's 8 of them, and you know, if you watch interviews with Tiger Woods, he's talked about Balata balls before, of where, like, when he was a kid, if you find a Balata ball, those were kind of the top tier at the time. You would save that and use that in a tournament. These at the time were the nice golf balls, but these are just a lot of 8 used Balata balls.
Because they're not probably usable today in any fashion, they're all nostalgic. Like, this is a hard one to guess. I'll go $100 for 8.
See, that's what I would have guessed too. This person got away for $15 for these vintage Titleist golf balls.
Yes. Okay.
So
much more reasonable.
Much more reasonable, but just I put this one in there to show what a difference that 8 of these vintage balls versus that one ping ball is. Just wild.
That's
range.
Yeah, you got me all in the spin zone. I'm all over the place on this one.
I know. And I hope this next one, maybe you have an idea, because you know cards, you know, baseball cards, sports cards.
Yes.
So this next one is a 2014 Upper Deck Tiger Woods. I don't know what this means, but employee exclusive red patch card.
Man,
but
I know
say it's authentically, it's guaranteed, and it is a very popular one.
Yes, his signature rookie card, which they made a ton because he was a big deal. You know, it's always those rookie cards where you didn't know the person was going to be a big deal. Everyone knew Tiger was a prodigy. So they made a lot of his rookie cards. His rookie cards, even graded now, sell for like less than $500. So I would say this being a little bit more exclusive than that, but all the way in 2014, I'm going to go $900.
This one shocked me the most. This one card sold for $7,500.
Wow. That I'm ashamed to say, that's just so niche. I got surprised there, but wow, that is incredible. $7,000 for that for 2014. Like, if it was a rookie card, if it was back in early 2000s, maybe 2014 signed card. Wow, that's incredible.
That's a lot. Okay, so the last one, I've always wanted to get my hands on one of these. Not really even this one, but I've always wanted the same type of putter that Tiger used, like in his prime. That I think it was like the year 2000. That's what this one is. This is a Scotty Cameron replica of the putter he used in the U.S. Open, and they only made 300 of these. And I've always wanted to get one of the ones, like just the regular ones that he's used before, and putt around with it. But you can't find them anywhere. People hold on to those. So they started making these replicas every time he would win a tournament, and they'd only sell 300 to 500 of these. So what's your take on this one?
That's a tough one to pin because of how exclusive or not exclusive it is. Obviously, he was winning a lot of tournaments, and so they put 300 together each tournament. All right. I mean, man, I haven't gotten even remotely close on any of these, but I'll go $1,200. I'll go $1,300.
It's higher.
God.
I know. This one sold for $4,900. And granted, this is no different than your Scotty Cameron Newport 2. Like, it's just, but they made 300 of these special ones and put Tiger's engraved signature on it. People like these. They're cool. But what a wild amount of money spent on golf memorabilia that I really had no idea really existed.
Wow. Those were all shocking.
Yeah.
For different reasons. Those were all shocking. So good on you for selecting a good group, and you got me completely twisted. Those were great.
Yeah, we'll have to narrow them down next time. We'll get some categories and do higher or lower.
That's good. All right, we're down to our last. We are blind ranking some subtle golf jabs. So a while back, we did a video on golf's best one-liners, but a lot of the comments were saying, that sounds too forced. And honestly, I tend to agree with it. Today, we're doing something different. You're blind ranking the best golf subtle jabs. So some things that you can say in passing that don't sound too forced. You ready? We got 8 today.
Let's do it.
All right. So this first one, very common one. You yell, "Get legs" on a ball hit very short.
Love that one because you don't need to know much about golf to know why that's funny. But I'll put it at 4.
Okay, 4. It sets the bar. Now you have a higher, lower. I love that. Okay. This next one, not so subtle, but you're still away.
I like that one. When delivered well, it really hits. I'm going to say 3. I like that.
It's definitely on the meaner spirited side of these kind of joking ones. It's like, okay, it's a joke, but it's very true, and you're pointing it out. So yeah, you're still away. It hurts a little bit. I'll give you that. Okay, this next one, a little lighthearted. Good tempo though.
That one's good because it can mean so many different things, which assuming there's another one coming up that is similar to it. But I'll rank that down. I'll put that at the bottom. Put it at 8.
Okay, perfect. I think it opens up down there when it definitely does not.
Definitely does not. But we all say it either to instill confidence or to just be a jerk. But it's a classic one. I'll put that at 2.
Yeah, that's the right place. I like that. All right. When you're well short, you say good leave.
Especially on a putt. That's pretty good. I'll give it a 7.
Okay. This next one in the same realm of things, you're way off the putting line, but you yell good speed, but way off the putting line.
Yeah. That is kind of the backhanded comment of golf. That's a good one. Good speed, just everybody says it. I'm going to put that at the top, number 1.
Number 1. Okay, I was going to say that sometimes this is actually meant nicely, like it's intended to be true, but yes, it can also very much sting if you were nowhere near the hole or the right line. Okay, so you got the bottom tier to fill out. So you got 5 and 6. So these next 2. This next one is way to play the slice.
Even though you've probably been seeing that slice from that person, that's good. But I'll put that at 6.
Okay. All right, this next one gets auto locked in. It's a good one. It's one that really hurts, which is your next one is good.
I wish I would have saved a spot a little higher for that. This is one that my in-laws love to throw out, especially when they start to put the putter down to see if the ball's within the leather. Almost every time someone says your next one's good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, inside 10 feet, this is a dagger.
Yeah. Yeah. That one I wish I would have ranked higher, but that's pretty good.
Good. That's good. That's a good list. I like those. What I will say is these are much more natural and still hurt just as much as those good one-liners. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time. And next time you see us, we might be recording some videos at Riviera. Looking forward to it.
We'll see you at Riv.
See you at Riv.